This is Activity Book 3.3, page 31 in your book. We are going to be comparing two texts. The directions say, read the short passages. Using a yellow marker, highlight the topics that are the same. Using an orange marker, circle the information that is different. Boys and girls, if you do not have a yellow or orange highlighter marker, you can use colored pencil, you can use crayon. It doesn't have to be a marker, okay? So what we're going to do, we are going to look at what you read in your chapter 3 reader, compare it to what I read to you in the read aloud, and see how they are alike and different. So the things that are the same, we will underline or highlight in yellow. Things that are different will be done in orange, okay? And you can circle or underline whatever works best for whatever tools you're using. If you're using highlighters, you probably are just going to highlight in different colors and not circle. If you're using a colored pencil or a crayon, you might underline in yellow and circle the different things in orange. So let's take a look at this. Read with me. This was the reading you did in your chapter 3. Vertebrates or invertebrates? Many other animals also are vertebrates. All mammals, reptiles, fish, and birds have a backbone, so they are all vertebrates. They have some type of spinal cord too. Animals with a backbone come in all different shapes and sizes. Apes, rhinos, horses, rabbits, bats, and yes, rats and humans too are all mammals and vertebrates. Lizards, turtles, snakes, and crocodiles are reptiles and vertebrates. Huge sharks and tiny goldfish are vertebrates. Small hummingbirds and large eagles are vertebrates too. Now, I'm going to read the read aloud portion to you, and what I want you to listen for is some of the same ideas. We're not looking for exactly the same sentences. We're looking for the same ideas or different ideas. So let's take a look at the first paragraph. For today, let's take a glimpse at the backbones of the 5 animal species to which my 5 friends belong. We've seen that a hippopotamus has a backbone. Boys and girls, I do not remember reading about a hippopotamus over on this side. Do you? So I'm going to highlight that in orange, that a hippopotamus has a backbone. That wasn't mentioned on the other side. Let's keep going. Next, let's take a look at one of Ebenezer's fellow egrets. Its backbone or spinal column helps it to hold its head up high and protects its spinal cord. I remember reading about a spinal cord over here. Birds have backbones, they're vertebrates, and it's a spinal cord. That's all the same information. So I'm going to highlight backbone or spinal column for egret because that's a bird. Like all egrets, Ebenezer could not live without its backbone. All birds have backbones or vertebrae. And there it is again, talking about the birds. All birds have backbones or vertebrae. Let's keep going. So over here, we also, the reptiles, fish, and birds have a backbone, the spinal cord, which we had over here. And then here we have, oops, sorry. All right, let's keep going. Snakes don't look like they have backbones, do they? Even though snakes slither or slip and slide along, they absolutely do have backbones. A snake's vertebrae, like anacondas, run the length of its body and swing low to the ground as its muscles help it move along the ground or climb up trees. All reptiles have backbones. So you can't always tell from the outside whether an animal is a vertebrate with a spine, a backbone, or whether it's an invertebrate. So I remember seeing something about reptiles having bones or backbones over here. Lizards, turtles, snakes, and crocodiles are reptiles and vertebrates. So I'm going to do reptiles and vertebrates. All reptiles have backbones. That's telling us the same information. Okay. Let's move on to the next part of the read aloud. There's nothing else on the left side, but we're going to keep going to see if there are some similar ideas still from this part and this part. How about fish? Would you say fish have a backbone? The answer is yes. All fish have backbones too, just as reptiles, birds, and mammals do. I want to go back here. Did it talk about fish having backbones? It did. It says huge sharks and tiny goldfish are vertebrates, so fish are vertebrates too. So I'm going to highlight this as well. All fish have backbones. Let's keep going. It's very tricky to see, but if you took an X-ray of its body, you would see that all the other tiny bones that make up the skeleton of the fish are connected to its spine. Now that is some information, that's additional information about the fish that was not in the first reading. So it tells us all the tiny bones that make up the skeleton of the fish are connected to its spine. Pialo told me that even though all fish have backbones, some fish, like sharks and stingrays, have backbones that are made of lighter and more bendable cartilage instead of hard bone, allowing them to be more flexible and travel more quickly. So there's something else that's different. We know that they're vertebrates, but they have backbones that are made of lighter and more bendable cartilage, which allows them to be flexible. And again, they've mentioned that all fish have backbones. That leaves amphibians. Take a look at my animal friends one more time. Pay close attention to the toad next to Tabitha. It's hard to tell when you look at a toad's body that there is a backbone inside. Now tell me, do toads have backbones? Yes, to be sure, they certainly do. Toads are vertebrates too. All amphibians have backbones. That means that all 5 of the animals you've seen today are vertebrates, and they have backbones. It talks specifically about toads in here, that toads are vertebrates, and all amphibians have backbones. Let's go back and see what this side said. And I'm looking for the word amphibians, and I don't see it. So they didn't really talk about amphibians here. So this is new, different information. So I'm going to put that in orange. Boys and girls, you are going to go on to the next part of 3.3, which is another page, and you're going to do the same thing on your own. You're going to read this side. Think about what the big ideas are, and then you're going to read this side to find out, and there's another side, to see if you can find some things that are the same and underline the same in yellow or highlight in yellow. And then in orange, you're going to highlight or circle the different information. You're not looking at every sentence. You're doing what we did and looking for big ideas. You will submit the second part of 3.3 when you're finished. So you will be submitting pages 33 and 34 from your activity book. Good luck!